Hi, welcome back. I have a new paper pack that I want to share with you. This is called Peaceful Gardens, and it is part of the September to December mini catalog, which will be releasing on September 3rd. So if you're watching this the day it is released, that is just next week. So not long before you can order out of it. They are also releasing or having a new online exclusive release on the same day. So you want to check both of those out. But check out this gorgeous, gorgeous paper. I turned everything, front to back so you could get a view of both sides. Beautiful doves. Look at how pretty those are. Wouldn't that make pretty? Could be a wedding card or a wedding layout. I mean, there are a lot of doves. Check out this one. This with the secret sea, and then you have the misty moonlight and some cloud cover in there. And look at how gorgeous these are. They're not only wedding and they're not only winter. I think they're just going to be so useful for so many things that you want to do. I mean, if you wanted to put the two cloud covers together, that along with this gorgeous, let me see this one here, I think will make a beautiful wedding layout. Look at that. I mean, just the three of those together, absolutely gorgeous. So let me clear these out of the way real quick and share with you my photos. I am continuing to work on my recent trip or my husband and I's recent trip up to Washington State, where we went to go visit some friends. And we ate at some really fun, eclectic, different restaurants, had seafood pretty much every night. I absolutely love seafood. But we, we ate at this one restaurant. It was called McMinimins. And it's just super duper eclectic. It used to be a temple. Look at this gorgeous woodwork all around. They've got this art in the stairwells, just kind of steampunky, I guess. I'm not too sure. Gorgeous orbs that are on all the railings. Um, we had some great cocktails. Definitely a lot of good desserts. This restaurant was pretty cool. They do a special um, menu. And I don't know if it's like a quarterly thing or not, but at the time they were doing Jamaican food. So that was really fun. So let me clear these out and bring in the papers that I'm going to be playing with today. I think I'm going to be building my layout on these two pattern papers. I really like this crumb cake with the little flower or sunburst and this really pretty foliage paper. So I'm thinking I would like to do just like strips of paper. So I'm going to end up cutting this down and building it on white cardstock. But just to start, I'm thinking probably a strip about 1.5 across the top. So that would leave the pattern paper right about there. And then maybe again, either 1.5 inches or an inch at the bottom. So I just have these wide bands of pattern paper. Let me bring my photos in and lay them out the way I think they're going to look good on my layout. So let's see, I think I want to swap those two around. I kind of want to keep the restaurant experiences, I guess, together. So we had the Jamaican food and they had beignets. So my husband's a big dessert person, so he had to have beignets. Then I wanted to keep all my photos from McMinimans together, so probably going to put like ones together. Put the deer. This is what they call the Spanish steps, like they have in Rome. It's off of one of their patios, and then this is the lobby. It's a hotel as well, so that's the lobby, and that is one of the restaurants. So bring in a couple other pictures, and then these last two are from when we ate and had clams and what have you. So I think I'm going to put my title down here. And then right below this will be my journaling. So it's going to look something like that. So I'll have three 3x4s in a row, or excuse me, 4x3s in a row. This is 6x4 and 4x6. And then these ones I believe are 3x3. They might be just slightly smaller because I do want to mat them. But so the end with the final mat will be 3x3. So this is the thought process. Like I said, I'll put my title here and then maybe an embellishment here and maybe up above or so. So let me cut down the papers and I will be right back. I'm going to build my layout on a base of just inexpensive white cardstock. That way I can, like I said, I'm going to cut my pages or papers down into strips. That way I can save the extras for other layouts. And this one isn't too thick. It's only a 60-pound paper, so it's actually quite thin. So I cut my strips. These are 1.5 inches each, and I did ink up the edges. These ones I did in Crumb Cake, and then the blue foliage paper, then with all the leaves and everything, I inked that up as well. And I did that one, make sure I have those going in the right direction there. I did these in the Misty Moonlight, or excuse me, the Secret Sea. So, and that is just going to sit in between there. And then I was thinking that I would like just a little bit of definition between the two papers. So I did cut down just some thin strips. This is Secret Sea, but I want to use the back side. So we have the dark side and we have the light side. So I'm going to be using the light side, and I did ink those up as well with the Secret Sea, so they all coordinate. So that just, I think, cleans up the edges of the paper just a little bit more, just gives it a little more definition. So let's lay these two out on this side. Oopsies. I always get my things jumping around all over the place, so let's try to get those to lay still. So that is the basic layout. So let me bring my photos back in. I want to make sure that they all fit really nicely in there. I can always move them down just a bit if I do need to. And so this one goes over here. I think I'm going to bring that one down just a little bit lower. And then I will have the three. Remember, my journaling is down there. Grab my last few. And then these ones are they're all going to go into a flip flap. So I'll mat those all up together and make it simple so that they just lay out like a 4x or a 6x4. So this is what I'm thinking. I am going to, like I said, journaling here. I've cut out some of the light side of Secret Sea, and this is cloud cover. I'm going to build my title on this, and this one I used, let me see if I have that here. Yeah, this is those textured notes dies that has all those really pretty borders. So I used, I think it was this one right there. So just that was really pretty. Gave it a little bit of detail. Let me just ink this one up really quick. I just do the Secret Sea right here as well. Give it a little more definition. I don't want to see, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little white core, and I don't want to see that. So that's really why I inked up those little strips so that you cannot see those. So it's great if you want to sand your paper or crinkle it or do some effects to it, but I'm not going to, and I don't want to see that. So that is going to go right about here. And then I'm going to journaling. I'm going to do an embellishment and maybe one more embellishment here. I did purchase, when I bought this paper, I also bought the bundle. Actually, I bought the whole suite, honestly. But you can just buy the bundle for the Stampin' Die set, and it's got some really great word sentiments on it. Doesn't have to be Christmas, which is kind of the direction it kind of feels like it's going in. But you only have a couple of, holiday sentiments. But we have with deepest sympathy, heartfelt prayers, big hugs for a good friend, all the best in your new adventure. So it has some great um, little wordy bits and title builders and things like that. And it has some really pretty dies that go along with it. It has some little, I guess, like a little leaves for the doves if you want to put them in their mouths, and then this larger sprig. And then this is the same as that little starburst paper. And we got a couple of great label, nesting label dies there. So I'm going to bring in some embellishments from these, specifically this and that, and probably one of those. So let me adhere this all down and then we can start embellishing. I adhered all my papers down, and just a quick little tip. This is what works for me because my mats have such a wide border that I can't see the alignment. What I'll do is I will remove my layout or my layout from the mat. I do adhere it down with some glue dots so they don't slip too much, and I just bring it over just to make sure that it aligns as close as possible. So, and then I just move it back and secure it back down. So everything, like I said, is secured down. I did have a little miscut, I guess, when I had cut my leaf paper. It was a little bit short, so luckily I did have these little strips because I did hide that little tiny bit of discrepancy. So, but with the white paper, I could have also just had a white border, but I do like the light side here of Secrecy. So this is what I think I'm going to go with. I only have two there because the rest are going to go in a flip flap, or it's all going to go in a flip flap, easier than having everything here. Here is my title. I went with Tacoma on my plate. Thought that was kind of creative. So that's going to just sit right there. That has a little bit of adhesive there to keep it from moving. Then I want to bring some of this cloud cover over here to this side. So I have not adhered down, my photos or anything. So I think I'm going to build a cluster over here. And that's just the spotlight on nature's dies. And I have a little cocktail. I have a tray full of goodies here. Just lost one. Let me grab that one. So I have just a little tray of goodies. Like I said, I cut them out of the Peace on Earth bundle, which coordinates with the paper pack. And so I wanted to do a little cocktail, just to commemorate. I'm going to be using some of these pretty little dots here. This is from the celebratory slips. So I have a little lime wedge. Not quite sure how that's going to come together, but something like that. And we'll see. Somewhere in here we have a little swizzle stick as well. So that's going to go in here into my cocktail. So something like that will probably come obviously down a little lower so it's not hanging off of my page there. So let's bring that in, just bring it a little tighter, and we can tuck that down underneath. So something like that. I do have all these great leaves. I thought the white would bring in some lightness because the paper is so dark, but I did cut them out of all the colors. Dark and light side of Secrecy, as well as the crumb cake and the white. So we'll bring in a few of these, and I also have a cute little banner I made that just says best of friends, and I want to bring that in as well. And then some of these leaves. So let's see how that's going to come together. Since I have the cloud cover there, I think I'll go with the darker Secrecy. Maybe a crumb cake, since we do have a little bit of white with that banner. So something like that. I did make another little just embellishment. It's kind of like a subtitle. This came out of the die came out of, again, from the Peace on Earth. And I had the stamp. It's one of the Stampin' Up stamps in my stash. I can't remember offhand which one it is from. I don't think I have it with me right now, but I'm going to do that and then just build up again. Just bring in some of the white. Let's bring in the crumb cake because I think we already have a lot of the blue, unless we bring it in below. Something like that. Let's see if we can go for 3, if that's too much. Let's see. Places like that. I think that's a little bit too much. So let's just go with the white and the crumb cake. We can bring that picture down. That means that will come down a little lower. That will be probably better for that little embellishment spot. Tuck that underneath, and that way it's not hanging off the page. A couple of those there. Let's see if we can bring in at least one white one on the other side. Oops, there we go. Maybe we'll cut it just slightly shorter. I don't know, maybe we'll go up. Let's bring these 2 down and go up with the other 2 so that they all fit on the paper. We'll see. Let's see. Let's bring in crumb cake. Oh my goodness. So maybe something like that. We'll bring in some embellishments to pretty that up a bit. And then over here on this side, I think we're just going to do pretty much the same. Just bring in some more of those leaves. Keep it pretty simple. Paper's very busy, so I'd like to keep it a little simpler. So we'll just do exactly the same thing here. Maybe we'll go, instead of the dark, we'll go with the lighter side. I like that one. I did do my title on my Cricut. I did the print and cut, which is entirely new to me right now. I'm absolutely loving it. I would normally cut those out as separate cuts and then glue the blue to the white, and oh my god, my Cricut couldn't always cut what I wanted. But I was always intimidated by the print and cut, so I never did it, and watched a video that explained it. I want to say it was Janice from the creative design team, and she explained it really well, and I just followed what she said step by step, and it was so simple, which was funny, so much simpler than I expected it to be. So if at some point I get comfortable enough, I'd love to do a little tutorial tip on how to do that as well, in case you're interested. So let me see if I have another light, dark one here. I have a couple of light ones. So let's just bring in a little bit of the blue here. These are just those smaller sprigs, the ones that could fit like in the doves' mouths, things like that. So I think I only have I have 4. So let's see if we can get in all 4. Just help build that cluster just a touch more. Yeah. Wiggling. So give it just a little bit more weight. So this is a dark one, which I think she'll be fine. And we'll just do a couple on this side. So I will secure those down so they're not moving quite so much. But I do want to bring in some mats, and I am deciding between both the light side of the Secrecy, which is what I've been using throughout for the most part, or the crumb cake. And let me see where I can bring it in, see where it would look the best. So like I said, I left enough of a border so that my finished pieces are true to size. I like them both, but I think because, I don't know, I think I'm going to go with this lighter side. I think both of them would look good, but it's kind of washes out the pictures a bit with the crumb cake. So let me just cut down some mats and get those all adhered, and then we can get the pictures put down and the embellishments finished. So let me take care of that real quick. I've got everything all adhered down, got my mats placed. I do have still to do my flip flap. What I did, excuse my dog, that is Alice. I mounted it on the light side of the Secret Sea, and then I don't think you can notice it, but when I flipped it over, I did not put another Secret Sea in the light side. So that is the dark side. So that is going to go right there. When I adhered the bottom set of photos down, I did leave the top loose so I can stick that underneath. I'm going to try something a little different. I have a hard time getting it my flip flaps aligned perfectly. I'm going to try to remove a little bit of the sticky, but before I do that, I just wanted to show you the Stampin' Up flip flaps for the 4x6s, and I think also for the 3x4s. You can either go portrait or you can go landscape. So they come with this sticky on the two different sides, the short side and the long side. So I'm going to be doing the 6x4. So this one gets slid in here. You want the adhesive. Let me see, yep, doing it right. So when you pull off the backing sheet, you have your adhesive. That is going to be facing you to begin with. Slide in your photos into your flip flap, shove them all the way down, and then it's going to go right there. Like I said, I'm going to try just something a little bit different. I'm not quite that brave. I'm going to partially try something a little different because, again, like I said, they don't always perfectly align for me, and it does kind of bug me a bit. So I'm going to take my anti-static pouch. I'm going to take off a little bit of the sticky. I think the worst thing I have to do is come back in with some white glue, you know, some of the Barely Art glue or whatever, and make it a little bit sticky again. So let's try to lift this up and slide that under. I'm hoping not to get my head into frame there, but if I can get this lined up, and it's a little tough on this one because it's so dark, but I'm going to line it up best can, get it laid down, and you can see that it's not straight. See, that's where I run into a problem. So I think that is looking pretty good. Give me, oh, as I say, give me a minute. I need to help my dog, but I can hear someone else is helping her. So I'm gonna get that perfectly lined up, I hope. And if not, it's going to be the best I can get it. Let's try. It's not working the way I'm hoping, so we're going to lay that down, and we're just going to pull that backing sheet off and cross our fingers, hope for the best. I'm going to wiggle it out from behind and see if I can get pulled out. There we go. So let's, fingers crossed, before I put it down totally. Pretty close, I hope. There we go. We're committing. So looks pretty good. I don't know if I'll try it again that way again, but it looks like it's lined up pretty well. And I think because it's so dark, you can't tell if it's slightly off. So with my clusters, real quick, I inked the outside of both this cloud cover circle and this little subtitle here just around the edges to give it a little depth. Pop this one up, a little more dimension. These I leave loose, but I have them glued in tight underneath. And same over here. This one's lifting a bit, but I did use some glue just to hold those down and keep those in place. And I just wanted to bring in some of these basic gray and smoky slate pearls. I really like these. Big fan of silver and blue. So let's bring a few of these in. Let's start over here on on our title. I think I'm going to go on the outside and just bring in a couple. Let's see, let's bring them a little closer together. Something like that. And then maybe one up here. And let's just do a few in the other clusters as well. There. I like the small size. As you can tell, I'm just about out of them. And let's just get a couple down here. This right here will be, like I said, my journaling. I have it just very lightly tacked. I might be putting it in a flip flap as well, because I do have a lot I want to say about all the restaurants and the great times we had while we were there. But otherwise, I think this layout is complete. Let me bring it in real quick. I will definitely list everything I used down below in case you're interested. Like I said, this Peaceful Garden paper pack and everything else in the new mini catalog, as well as the online exclusive, releases on September 3rd. So that's just a few days away. I'm going to bring in the other side. So definitely make sure to get on the website and check out the online exclusive. So if you did get a catalog in the mail from your demonstrator, the online exclusive is totally separate. So everything listed below, like I said. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. That would be great. And I'll leave you another video to check out if you need a little bit more inspiration. Until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.